Okay, thanks everybody for coming. My name's Steve Gibson, and this is not my thing. I'm only a facilitator in this. It belongs to the gentleman standing there with Lady Liberty with her fist up, Bill Valenti. This was his idea, and this is number 29. I'm sure he's going to talk about it, but this is number 29. But what I wanted to do mostly was I wanted to thank Paul Neville. Paul helped facilitate us getting this space, and I've asked him to MC the evening. So I'm just going to get out of the way and turn it over to Paul, and then we're just going to go.
So don't expect me to sing tonight because I'm a master of the art of sad songs. That's mine, not protest songs. So these folks are masters of protest songs. But welcome. I'm glad everybody's here. What a nice turnout. And I'm a writer, a folk singer, and I'm a person who's, like many people here, whose life, whose career and country have been influenced in many ways by the fine art of protest song. And we are, in my mind, as a singer-songwriter, we are standing here tonight on sacred ground. And I'm not talking about the church, the religious institution, which graciously allowed us to use this chapel for our concert. I'm talking about the protest song, which has deep and winding roots to our country and many others across this troubled globe, from Africa to Europe to Asia to America. And everywhere there are human beings and human turbulence, there are and have been protest songs. When I was young, I'm no longer young, I don't know if you can tell. Thank you, whoever said that. When I was young, I watched Pete Seeger standing alongside Martin Luther King and leading a vast sea of people. I don't know how many thousands were at the Lincoln Memorial. No, I was watching it. I would claim, but someone would catch me on it. So they were singing "We Shall Overcome," the anthem of the civil rights movement. As a young man visiting Paris for the first time, I remember watching in Montmartre, watching an old man walk past a cafe on Rue Lepic. And he stopped on a sidewalk in front of a cafe, and he began to sing Le Chant des Partisans, the song of the partisan. And it was a song that empowered French resistance during the Nazi occupation. To a person, every person in that cafe rose to their feet, and most of them were crying. And I remember driving down the road, like many of you, you weren't in my Corvair, but I was driving in my Corvair on the spring of 1970 after the Kent State shootings. And not long afterward, hearing Crosby, Stills, and Nash singing "Ohio" for the first time. And I remember thinking, the world will never be the same again. And in many ways, it never was. So tonight we bring you the art of the protest song in the hope, the expectation that the fires that protest songs kindled and continue to burn in our hearts will burn in yours. We bring songs and poems that burn in our chests and that will continue to burn, hopefully in yours. We often forget that music is more than a means of deriving pleasure. It is that, but it's more than that. In every generation, protest music, in my mind, has played a vital role in defining injustice, the struggle for equality, and the quest for peace. Protest music defines social and historic values, and it guides us as we trot down that road of history. Pete Seeger once said, "I always believe that the right song at the right moment can change history." With that, let me introduce our first artist. Let me also turn my page. Bill Valenti. Where do I begin? I asked him to write his own bio, and he described himself as a peripatetic entrepreneur, a freelance protagonist and a late blooming songwriter who hatched the Art of the Protest Song project a dozen years ago. Bill is driven by the notion that while the pen is mightier than the sword, a song is mightier still. He's a passionate connoisseur of all things and all people, good and wonderful. He's funny, and he's ferocious in the face of bullies and tyrants. Bill?
Fear not, ladies and gentlemen, this banjo is not like you have typically heard banjos. And I'm going to play it up front so that the audience has time to recover before going home. Well, thank you, Paul, for that very nice introduction. I always wondered when I started this project, how far back could you go to find interesting protest songs? And all the people that have participated in these 29 events so far have striven to find something back in the 18th century, the 17th century, a protest song that was important in that historical moment. I think the oldest one we got so far is something called the Digger song that was in 18th century in the English Civil War, and it was about peasant land rights. And can you not hear me? Better, okay. All right. So the Digger song, and a lot of people have played that in various Art of the Protest song shows, but I'm really striving to go back even further. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to find on the walls of a crypt and deeply embedded in the pyramid in Egypt, you know, the lyrics to a protest song about lousy labor conditions and lousy food and all that stuff. I mean, it must be. I think it's probably it must be the oldest form of music. I'm thinking is people singing about stuff they like and stuff they don't like, and so this past week has been both disheartening and inspiring. A big ugly week that we've made through here, and I tried to find some little ray of hope because I've read that about the most effective protest songs have this element of hopeful anger. Get as angry as you want, get really brutally angry, but recognize that what you're protesting against is not inevitable, and that there's always an element of hope. And so I hope we can convey some of that hopeful anger in the songs that we're doing here today. But amidst the endless stream of bad news happening in the past week, I came across a quote by a historian named John Meacham. Some of you probably have read some of his stuff. And it's just this really simple, empathy is the oxygen of democracy. Wow. I mean, to me, that's a disarming statement. Yeah. So take that one with you. So this banjo is my wife's great-grandfather's banjo from the 1880s, and he made it. It was a kit that you could get the metal parts from a metal bending company and then carve your own neck and do all the other fancy stuff. So this has been around and in the 1880s it would have had gut strings on it. And I do have gut strings, but not on it at the moment. I just got them. So here we go. We'll do my first song. This is called The Price. The seas are rising, forests on fire, a plague of plastic in the ocean gyre. The climate's changing, anybody can see. This world's in a world of hurt, and there ain't no planet B. those in Congress, they turn a blind eye. That's the chord. Drill, baby, drill, they say, till the wells run dry. But we know the truth now, we can smell a damn lie. When big oil whines and whines and whines, that the price is just too high. And there's a price we pay for keeping quiet. And there's a price we pay for letting it slide, yeah. And there will come a day when the bill comes due, my friend, and we will know too late then that the price is too damn high. We know the truth now, can't be denied. We're killing this earth of ours and we got to decide. We can cross our fingers, hope it turns out well, or we can all rise up now and ring that danger bell. We can all rise up now and ring that danger bell. Yeah, we gotta rise up now and ring that danger bell. With that, I'm putting the banjo away now. And I'm going to do another song about climate change, but not the climate that's illustrated on this poster, but the political climate, the cultural climate, and I would say the moral climate, going through a major change right now. And I brought with me something that I used in a indivisible demonstration in Portland last week, sort of a tongue-in-cheek ice melt for the getting rid of the ice people. I'm sure you've all heard of the term Ice Barbie. That's Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, who likes to dress up in fancy costumes and go out to the front lines, all dressed up for combat. It's just absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Ice Barbie. Oh, and by the way, it's in the folk song tradition. It's often the case that you borrow a melody from an older folk song and just rewrite new lyrics for it. So what I've done is borrowed a John Prine song called Dear Abby. Thank you, John. John is sitting up in heaven, or maybe not, drinking vodka and ginger ale and eating peaches, right? Is that what it? Yeah. Ice Barbie, your costume's a hoot. All dressed up for combat, full makeup to boot. You're snatching up people who've done us no harm. They're just working hard jobs in the factories and farms. Sign, plain citizen. Hey citizen, plain citizen, you have no complaint. You think you can stop me, but I tell you, you can't. We'll run you right down if you stand in our way. There's a new game a-born in this USA. Signed, Ice Barbie. Ice Barbie, I don't understand. We're a nation of immigrants all over this land. My friends and my neighbors, hell, we ain't backing down. Tell your goons with their masks on to get out of town. Signed, plain citizen. Hey citizen, plain citizen, you have no complaint. You are what you are, and you ain't what you ain't. The president wants us to sweep this land clean. We're a white Christian nation, and you know what that means. Signed, Ice Barbie. Ice Barbie, Ice Barbie, your cruelty is plain. And all the fascists and haters now joined in your game. You shot your poor dog, and you might shoot me too. But behind me there's millions, and we ain't afraid of you. Sign, plain citizen.
So Carter, come on up. Carter McKenzie is the author of 2 books of poetry, Out of Refusal and Stem of Us, and 2 poetry chapbooks, Naming Departure and The Book of Fire. Her work has been published recently in her words, the Halcyone, I'm proud to be it. Did I pronounce that right? Halcyone? Oh, okay, right. The Black Mountain Press, The Raven's Perch, in the anthology Bookstore Clerks and Significant Others, that's from Tsunami, and Periodicities, a journal of poetry and poetics. She's an active member of the Springfield, Eugene chapter of SURJ, showing up for racial justice.
It's such an honor to be here tonight. I feel so grateful. Thank you all for coming. We need to come together during these times. We need this. So gratitude to everyone who organized this event. I'm going to begin with a poem dedicated to the youngest child of my dear friend Yasser Abu Reda in Gaza. He is also a dear friend of Ingrid's. Maria was 3 months old when the genocide began, and I wrote a poem for her when she turned 1, a year before this past June. The family continues to survive in impossible, unimaginable situations. If you're interested in helping this family, I did leave some information on the table back there. As you go out, there are little leaflets with website, and you can find out how to help the family. And I say this poem as a prayer for survival. Death is breathing on the necks of everyone, every moment in Gaza. In her first year during the genocide, for Maria, who turned 1-year-old on June 9th, 2024, what she sees from the family's tent now in Khan Yunis, something falling from the sky. Strange beast, marking blueness, bringing something to stay away from. Her curly-haired silhouette, a gaze out into what has nothing to do with her. And of the words she is learning, what will she call the things trailing the sky? Boxes of food, boxes of fire. Where they land, and the daily churn of drones, the sound of the air full of eyes, and the blasts shaking air and ground. She cannot know their heaviness. They are things to stay away from. her parents holding her through all of this, sheltering when she smiles at her mother and father, at her big brothers, Muhammad and Yusuf, ages 4 and 6. They are the sun and the moon. They are the light of the earth. They are where she lives. This next poem was written July 29th, 2024. It is a blueprint of what we're seeing happening now in Gaza. And I read these poems because we're seeing inhumanity and degradation of the earth are connected obscenities that come from the same domination code, the colonial projects that are perpetuated over and over again, which we must interrupt and end. For the sake of a new world order, the Gazans believed. At first, the rest of the world didn't know the Gazans were being starved and bombed in the name of Israel's self-defense. Mosques, hospitals, universities, the sick, the disabled, the infants, the elderly. Nothing left but the burnt page of a prayer book. How many dead beneath the rubble? The dry water pipes, the growing cesspits, the endless mobs of mosquitoes rising with every step. Make sure the world knows, the Gazans in Rafah said to the visiting human rights workers who would return traumatized. Tell them, make sure the world knows. This is the first of 2 poems about Rafah, and now Rafah is flattened. Between April and July of this summer, almost 30,000 buildings were destroyed because what is happening is Israel, with US support, is preparing for what they call a humanitarian city, which are concentration camps. Shame. I'm closing this section with music. Music as protest, music as health, music as identity, music as refusal to be erased. And I want to remember right now a music teacher who lives in Gaza. His name is Ahmed Mouin Abu Amsha. He is a music teacher who created a support group for the children in his camp. He said, there is a flower inside the fire. When he first came up with this idea of a music camp to people who were organizing where he lived or was surviving as a displaced Palestinian, the response he received was, we need food, we need water, music won't do anything. But what he found is it did. The children's depression, their anxiety, their confusion, their wanting to shut down, all of those things diminished as they were singing and learning instruments. He actually used the sound of drones that were driving his students crazy as an instrument to sing, "Carry It On, Jamal, Carry It On," a song of resilience. So I want to remember Ahmed Mouin Abu Amsha. He is a brave, loving man in the midst of genocide. And this final poem is about a young man at the beginning of this genocide. And I saw a video of him playing the oud, the ancient Middle Eastern instrument that resembles a lute, except its neck is shorter and it is fretless. Oud is Arabic for wood, and it's connected to the sacred, and it's connected to the fragrant. And he's in the middle of this tent, group of tents of displaced people playing the oud, this beautiful instrument, and children are sitting around him listening. So this is for him. And what's hard about the timing of these poems that I'm compelled to write is I don't know who survived. I don't know if this young man is alive still. But it's in his honor, this poem, and the children. A young man plays the oud amidst the tents in Rafah, the grace of the instrument, the color of wheat, the curve of ripeness, rosewood or walnut, a remembered tree, a hand noting song on an arrangement finely tuned somehow, protected even in the midst of war, of genocide. The young man's voice amidst the snap of wind of the tents cold, under the sky of drones, along the cold sea, the song holding the full attention of children, their circle of light reflecting back to the singer, amidst the sand, the navigation of song, its radiance right now, accompanying them, knowing who they are. Thank you.
So Eric Richardson is a good friend of mine. Come on up, Eric. Eric was born in St. Louis in 1968 and has lived off and on in Eugene since his family moved here in 1972. Married 34 years, Eric and his wife Tamara have raised 5 children. He's been a lifelong lover of history and community and works to facilitate conversations on identity, cultural inclusion, and issues of social significance. Eric served nearly a decade with the local NAACP. I think all of those were as executive director. Is that correct?
President,
President,
executive
that's right.
director. Thanks to Oregon Community Foundation the last 2 years.
Yeah, and I will tell you, he did a phenomenal job with the NAACP in the town and worked to broaden and establish connections with other communities. And it was a wonderful time for the NAACP and the community. Among other things, he cemented a relationship with the Mims family. Anybody know any Mims? Yeah, some of us do. To house the NAACP at the historic Mims House in 2016. Eric continues to serve the community by serving as board president for Habitat for Humanity Oregon and sitting on the 4J School District's budget and equity committees. Recently, he has joined the Beyond Toxics team as a community organizer. And so you're just pretty much taking it easy.
Yes.
All right, it's all yours.
So Carter, thank you so much for your poetry and for your diligence in this moment. I wear this scarf because my son just returned from South Africa. He graduated from South Eugene, U of O, Temple University, got his PhD, now he's teaching. In Louisiana, unfortunately, with their governor, but he's down there teaching at Xavier University, Africology. I want to give thanks to Mama Africa, and I protest the fact that she is disrespected. faith or your sacrifice?
So Ingrid Wendt, come on up, Ingrid, is the author of 5 books of poems and co-editor of 2 anthologies. Trained in classical piano and organ, Ingrid sings with the Eugene Concert Choir and has been a visiting poet in hundreds of classrooms at all educational levels. That's an important one. That's great. Including 3 times in Germany as a Fulbright professor and in Antioch, LA's MFA program. Recent poems appear in Poetry, APR, Terrain, About Place, Calyx, Cutthroat, and other journals, and has been featured on Garrison Keillor's The Writer's Almanac. Very cool. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be part of this program. Thank you all for coming. I'm just deeply moved right now by what I heard Eric play. I'm really close to tears. It was beautiful and powerful, and I heard the protest in there, but I also heard the lament. And I think that protest and lament walk hand in hand. And if we lose sight of the lament, we lose sight of our humanity also and the feeling part of us. So it's important, I think, to let grief be expressed at the same time as protest. I have several poems that I'm going to read. I heard the word empathy, and I wrote it down. Empathy is the oxygen of democracy. That's fabulous. Who was it that said that? I need to write that down. John Meacham. John Meacham, okay, thank you. And thinking of another quotation, Aldous Huxley says, all art aspires to the condition of music. So I just love this fusion and its intersections tonight. Another definition of empathy was by Joy Harjo, one time recently, Poet Laureate of the United States, of the Muskogee Nation. And she writes, she writes, empathy is the act of understanding that we are in this story together and everyone has a story. No one else's beingness or story is worth more than another. With empathy, we listen, we care. Empathy does not cause damage. Hateful rhetoric does. This poem is a place in which I discovered that I needed to call on empathy. I was in a classroom, an adult education classroom, and the poem is titled, All of Us Voted Our Hearts. And it was written during the first Trump administration when we thought things were really bad. All of us voted our hearts, but one of us only out of our small, close class was on the side that elected him. We needed that, right?
Oh, great.
Punctuation. Quadruple exclamation point. Yours, the one heart, trusting that brash, vainglorious man with the world. All day it's been on my mind, driving alone along a seascape that once, years ago, brought me close to tears with its beauty. I was over at the coast. My mind now replaying yesterday's scene. The way you quietly listened to the rest of us get carried off course by waves of our own fear and dismay at how fast every single thing was falling apart. We couldn't stop trying to make sense of it all, none of us sensing the reach of our words until your eyes filled up. Your face turned red, unexpected, the way your words spewed fire. Facebook friends, you said, were unfriending you. Distant family hated you. Yes, I voted for him, you said. I'm hurting, you said. I'm hurting. And we were stunned. All day as I drive, I've been trying to make sense of it. You, teacher, healer, whose hands all her life have lightened the loads of others, who never would knowingly do anyone harm, who voted for someone whose orders, in their sweeping blindness, tried, just last week, to turn from our borders a 4-month-old child on her way to life-saving surgery in our country. Remember that? A child whose family had trustingly trudged through all the legal steps. What now can I say to you, who yesterday felt only your own self harmed, whose face turned red, whose tears about to flow stopped me in my tracks? How do I offer compassion and still hold firm? This I wonder as I drive in early afternoon, south along the coast towards home, glancing, disbelieving at the far horizon smoldering red. That long, narrow space that should be blue between the slate gray sea and low storm-filled clouds, red, as though 1 trillion barrels of oil have spilled and spread, and a distant fire burns, unquenchable, all along the whole western edge of our world. This poem also comes from a past president, the first George Bush, who said something one night on a TV show or a news show that really was disturbing to me. I had been keeping a list of phrases, words in our everyday speech, our American language, that we say sometimes without thinking, always without thinking. And so you'll hear these in here, words of our time. And what does it mean when we use these words? How can we change them? I'm trying to find other ways, but whenever I catch myself, I try to find a different word. Words of our time. And have our tongues always not known what they speak? Good students, smart as whips, always hitting the books before killing the lights. Armed with knowledge and struck by new ideas. Who wasn't proud to take stabs at it? Firing off questions like shots in the dark. Dead right, dead wrong. There was always a time we could talk without thinking of dressing to kill, drowning our sorrows. Parties were blasts, or they bombed. No joke was ever caught dead without its punchline. And here is a time when a president says, we still have a shot at peace. And the surest way to peace is through war. He said that. When the media says, fire that kills you is friendly when it's from your own side. When we who say, bring the troops home, are told we don't support them. In this time when words can make any war just, and peace a smashing success. In this time, words like feathers knock some of us over, and some of us stand speechless. And I'll close with one more. That's an environmental protest, a quiet one. I had the great privilege some years back to travel with my late husband, Ralph Salisbury, in a place called Finnmark, which is above the Arctic Circle. And it's in Finland. It's part of the Sami nation, actually, the indigenous people of the far north. And our destination was the home of one of the most well-known and beloved Sami poets, Niels Aslak Valkeapää. And Ralph was translating his work and working with Sami translators. And then we went to meet the poet, a very impressive man who died all too young in a car accident. We're at his house with our Sami friends who brought us there. We were living for the summer in Tromsø, Norway, above the Arctic Circle. And the friends knew Niels Aslak, and we drove over there, and then he had a sauna, and Britt and I had our sauna, and then the guys had their sauna, and then we had beer. And it was a wonderful afternoon. And the poem is titled Finnmark, an Idyll, I-D-Y-L. And it's like the Idols of the King or whatever. And I say it sarcastically because I thought it was idyllic until I discovered something that made me sad. Finnmark, an idol. At the poet's house, remote among the absent swallows, already empty their nests under the eaves. They'd migrated already. The poet's windows are open. And a different bird, sings from a heart that could be my own in the sun that soon, for long winter months, will be gone. Now blessing our shoulders, our feet, my skin fresh from the sauna, tingling, this golden expansion new friendship brings. And I, for a while, can pretend I don't hear the poet tell about the 5 or 6 kinds of birds this year that never, like me, have been here before, this far to the north, which has never, in memory, been so warm. It's said there are too many homes in the landscape they come from. It's said they now can survive here. Bird, for a while, I truly was glad to see you. Bird, I took joy in your song.
Well, Cross Current, come on up. I want to say that this has been an amazing night so far. I'm leaving on a trip soon to go to Poland, and then to Norway, and to France. And I feel like I'm getting an early trip tonight. I've been to Africa with Eric's. Eric took me there, and I've been to Gaza, and all the grief and sorrow and the pain. And I've been to visit the Sami in Finnmark, which I didn't know existed. But that's very interesting. Is that formally part, is that a separate country, or is that a? Okay. Thanks. And, let me introduce Cross Current. Yeah, they don't need it. First of all, I want to say these are my friends, my dear friends, and I love them. And I see them, my heart leaps, and when I hear them, it leaps higher. And they sing mostly original songs, and they blend their 3 very different but very intertwined voices in music that continues the folk tradition with songs for social issues such as peace, homelessness, immigration, as well as songs of life in today's world. Ken Zimmerman, Rosanna Costello, and Steve Gibson have been making music together for many years, and I hope for many, many more. They are now sharing these songs with the world in the hope of making it a better place.
Howdy, everybody. What a special evening tonight. Thank you. It's clear from what everybody has said thus far, and it's just so clear this past year, the work is never, ever done. And can you all hear me okay? Cool. Great. So this song, written by Iris DeMint, is the title song of her album, Working on a World. And it's just such a powerful statement. And I think it rings true for all of us and helps us understand that everything we can do makes a difference. Okay, ready? Okay. I got so down in trouble, I nearly lost my head. I started waking every morning, filled with sadness, fear, and dread. The world I took for granted was crashing to the ground. of the day, but neither did all our ancestors. They persevered anyway. When I see a little baby reaching out its arms to me, I remember why I'm working on a world I may never see. Now I'm working on a world I may never see. I'm joining forces with the warriors of love who came before, and will follow you and me. I get up every morning knowing I'm privileged just to be working on a world I may never see. Oh, I'm working on a world I may never see.
That last one was written by Iris Dement, and we're next going to do a song that I wrote. And I should mention I had been reading, this is some years ago, a book called The Sixth Extinction by a woman named Elizabeth Colbert, and this song came out of that book, a little bit at least, so I call it Extinction Song. I watched 3 ravens fly across the water. They're crying to each other as they go. They slowly disappear into a stormy sky. They're on their way to some place I don't know. I heard that half the wildlife in this world is gone since my childhood not so long ago. I fear one day we'll wake up to a cool, clear dawn of a silent spring where we are all alone, and wonder, oh, where will they go? Oh, where did they go? So goodbye to the monarchs on their paper wings. Goodbye to the great blue whale. Goodbye to the sparrows, to the larks that sing, and to the condor soaring on her mighty sails. Goodbye to the panda, to the polar bear. Goodbye to the pronghorn deer. Goodbye to the rhino and to the salmon in their streams. One day soon we'll never more see them here. Oh, where will they go? Oh, where will they go? built our giant cities up by using all the land, not knowing just what we had done. We've got to grow the food to feed our family. We need the space for our daughters and our sons. But extinction is a wound that time can never heal. Once they're gone, they won't be back again. Maybe there's still time to stop the turning of this wheel. But oh, my friends, we're getting near the end. Oh, where will we go? Oh, where will we go? Oh, where will we go? Oh, where will we go?
Show will begin in a second. Everybody sit down. The remarkable Bill Valenti, a legend in his own mind.
The weather change really makes it hard to keep stuff in tune. That's why I didn't play the banjo a second time, because it's just like totally impossible. Closer to the mic. Okay. How about the guitar? Can you hear the guitar? So I'm going to do 2 songs in this round, and I'm going to ask Eric to come up for the second one because it's a little bit of an interesting poem and related to climate change. So I write a lot of protest songs, which is why I hatched this crazy idea a dozen years ago. And I was at a songwriting workshop in California maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and the workshop mentor saw me looking very frustrated about writing songs at this workshop. And she said, well, so what's going on? I said, well, there's so many damn things to protest and so little time. And she said, well, why don't you write a song about that? Brilliant. So I give her credit for the idea, and this is the song that came out of that encounter. An empty page before me, not a word to be found. Visions in my head, spinning round, spinning round. What can I write here? What can I say to make all the troubles of the world go away? What can I say? What can I say? Can I write something clever, something deep and sincere? Can I paint you a picture so blindingly clear that you can feel what I'm feeling and you can see what I see? Can I open up your heart to all the world's misery, what can I say? What can I say? And in a world full of madness, can a song be the cure? Can a poet change the way we think? I'm not really sure, but I'll still cry my lonesome anger at the darkness I see, and fill that empty page with all my foolish hopes and dreams. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. Where can I find them? All the words that I seek to tell the truth for those unable to speak. How can I show you what your eyes need to see? All those beaten down people struggling hard to be free. Where can I go? Where can I go? Can I find them in the wreckage of lands torn by war, in the slums and the ghettos too vast to ignore? Can I find them in the boardrooms and those towers made of steel, sheltered from the bitter winds that so many feel? Where can I go? Where can I go? And in a world full of madness, can a song be the cure? Can a poet change the way we think? I'm not really sure, but I'll still cry my lonesome anger at the darkness I see, and fill that empty page with all my foolish hopes and dreams. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. An empty page before me, not a word to be found. Visions in my head, spinning round, spinning round, spinning round, spinning round. And have Eric provide a little magic in the background. So imagine I had this dream once of what would it be like if something happened and humanity was gone from the world? What would it be like for the remaining critters? Of course, logically, that would never happen that way. I mean, whatever we're doing to destroy ourselves, we're also destroying a lot of the animal kingdom. And yet, I still had this fantasy. So here we go. The planet's getting warmer. The seas are rising high. The price of man's irreverence that no one can deny. We killed damn near all the critters, cut down all the trees. The rock's a silent sentinel to our inhumanity. Holocausts and pogroms, senseless wars of gods and greed. We rape the earth for profit, taking much more than we need. But Gaia has the last word as humanity expires. And all the critters now are gathering at mankind's funeral pyre. Oh, the elephant is waiting. The tiger bides his time. Their tormentors soon be leaving harmony behind. And Gaia watches patiently as humans fade away. The fate of man now cast in stone on the planet we betrayed. And the elephant waits, and the tiger bides. Through the rise and fall of empires, we thought we tamed a wild earth. Some claim that all was made for us, no claim of greater worth. In truth, we haven't been here long. All the critters paved our way. But my God, we got it so damn wrong. Now we face our final days. Why did we let this happen? How did our big brains fail? Too late now to fix it as we pound the final nail. And while the critters watch our cities crumble and our highways turn to dust, the wreckage of a careless breed done in by boundless lust. Now the elephants are smiling. The tigers dance with glee. With humans on the ash heap, all the critters now run free. And Gaia counts her blessings. The future's looking bright. We humans blew our only chance. We just could not get it right. And the elephants smile, and the tigers dance. And the elephants smile, and the tigers dance.
This is an amazing gathering with the music and the poems. Bringing grief and protest, sacred rage, bringing our imaginative love together is powerful. I'm going to begin this section with a poem that comes from a traumatic injury I had in April of this year. It was ridiculous. I slipped on wet moss and landed full force on my right hand on concrete. And so that crushed the wrist bones. And this is my writing hand, too. So that happened, and while I was recovering from this, going through everything that I needed to go through, I was acutely aware, because I continued to be very involved in paying attention to the family I care for in Gaza and paying attention to everything happening there. And I was acutely aware of two things because of that as I dealt with my injury. One was, as traumatic as I felt my injury was, that was an accident, and it is nothing compared to what trauma is being experienced in Gaza, which is inflicted on people on purpose, especially on children. There are more child amputees in Gaza than anywhere else on earth. And that was one thing I just felt very much. And the other thing was how we are all the same. Flesh, bone, blood. A bone fracture, an open fracture is an open fracture. We are brothers and sisters. We need to defend each other. It's of mutual interest. We are, as bodies, as beings in this planet, the same. No small miracle. To twist a hair tie around my hair, to make a ponytail, to hold the stick of a broom, to sweep the floor, to find a way from trails of broken sticks to my own writing, my hand, myself returning, no small miracle, from a hand I might have lost. And the people of Gaza, through whom I learned my injury, open fracture, the white of the bone. I feel this recovery as what is not possible for the starved people of Gaza. I stay with them always, not knowing, and knowing our fates are connected. Eloquence and urgency of broken sticks, wrong to be silent. The bone rings true. This next poem is about another kind of brokenness. and it is for an injured deer during a season of fire here. The title includes a word, punctum, which is an anatomical term. It's the small opening in the eyelid that draws tears from the eye and through the tear duct system. In photography, it's an art word, an art theory word, and it is a specific detail or element within a photograph that creates a powerful, unexpected, and emotional connection to the viewer, a puncture, a wound. And in that photograph, it's not intentional, formal decision on the part of the photographer. It's subjective on the part of the viewer, not intentional. And this is not about a photograph. It is about a deer, a doe, and a mother of 2 fawns I observed with care over this stressful time of fire. Punctum, broken, for the injured deer. Remembering her broad shoulders and now her descent toward the woods, I see her foot displaced, hanging from the back right leg, black hoof, fragment, bloodless, but for skin and ligaments severed. 2 fawns following close in this summer of fire. Out of sync light, the singe of burning weather. Fires exploding near, no way to stop it. Keeps happening. What stone gave way, what clip struck deep, what ripped place, smell of smoke, shattered bone. Yet her return now this autumn, her haunch sunken, atrophy, loosely coated, her foot bearing the slightest weight. How she steps, her fawns half grown, and how they nudge and eat, acorns pelting down, day and night, pelting down in this too warm air, unbidden. And here each fullness, and here each seed, all they might ever know of branching, returning, gathering. I'm going to close my section now with a poem about a woman who died alone in prison in Torryburn, Fife, Scotland in 1704. Her name was Lilias Adey. She was in prison because she had been accused of witchcraft. Under the Scottish Witchcraft Act from 1563 to 1736, nearly 4,000 people in Scotland were accused. 84% of those people were women. 2/3 are likely were found guilty. It's estimated by scholars, and they were burned at the stake. So Lilias Adey, because she died before they could kill her, hers is the only known grave of a witch in Scotland. And when I heard of her, it was because a forensic artist had made an image of her face based on a skull, picture of her skull in a university exhibit that was taken before the skull disappeared. And this was during the time of the first Trump administration. And this was during the time of the separation of the children at the borders, when the tapes secretly made were released by ProPublica. The sound of children crying. And I was writing this poem about a woman accused of witchcraft, thinking of the ways people are objectified by abusers of power, and fear-mongering and scapegoating. And what did James VI of Scotland say? He was king during this time of the witch hunts. He said in his demonology book, his contribution to the literature of demonology, he was going to cleanse his country from the detestable slaves of the devil. Those were the witches. So this is for Lilius 80, who was courageous when she was alone and being tortured by interrogators. She refused to give new names of witches. And I wanted to honor that in this poem. So this is lament, and this is recognition of a courageous woman who is entirely alone. The Revenant, in remembrance of Lilius 80, who died in Torreyburn, Fife, 1704. Given she was alone when she died, given her prison cell, the sentence for her crime, burn, given the prospect of her ashes, given the exhaustion from torment, she died ahead of time. Given her burial ground, coastal mud saved for suicides, given the weight of a door of stone to clamp her body down, given its iron ring, given her body unmourned to the mud and the waves, given the people's fear they believed more than anything, she might rise, she might find them, given the grave cracked open, given her stolen witch's bones, given the lasting curiosity, given the hollows of her witch's skull, given the places for her eyes, given the places for her witch's teeth, given the photograph taken before her skull disappeared from a university exhibit, given the stone slick with bracken and rain and sea, given the voice of the mouth to the sea, given the complaint, the purpose of these interrogations, drunken name-calling, given the field and devil she said she knew, given her refusal to give new names, given her confessions, defiance recorded in a book, given her wit, given all that would be worse for her, given her silences, given the unnamed, given how many women saved, given her choices witnessed by stone, given a mouth closed over her teeth, given her more than 60 years of age, given she lived alone, given forensics, given no reason, the artist said, to pull her face into an unpleasant, mean expression, given your thoughts, given the sight of her face. Thank you.
Living in the city of immigrants, I don't need to go wandering. Open the door and roll up single. Living in the city of immigrants, living in a city that never sleep. Heartbeat pounding 1,000 beats. In the song language I don't speak. Living in the city of immigrants. Give me some music, man. No more of this stupid talk, man. We gotta talk all day.
You funny. It's gonna be music. The music talks.
That's it, buddy.
Because I just want to talk about the human condition. We only have one life to live, and it's about behavior. It's about how we, as an entity, a cell, and a great being, operate. Are we sympathetic? Do we create life? Do we create opportunity? Or do we block? Do we kill? Those words, what a poem, that's, these words we use, we need to use our words because our words are magic. They're magic. You say something and it becomes true. If you have heart, if you have spirit, if you have essence. Bullets are heavy. When one dies, according to my ancestors, your heart is put on a scale and it's weighed against a feather, very light. but it has weight. So a bullet is heavier than a feather. Horus, the ancient symbol and thought of resurrection, of truth, of balance, of honor, of discipline. Democracy calls for all these things: honor, discipline, love. That's why we do government. Government is created to care for people and for one another. And then when you have leadership that is out of balance, we are all out of balance, and we need to care about that. Because balance is of utmost importance. Ma'at. Balance. The feather, an ostrich feather placed on a scale against our own heart